Hey guys, it's time to get back into it and get this front wall finished so I can complete the rest of the studio. This is the intercom that I want to put in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a piece of this 12mm ply, and then what I'll do is I'm going to glue it onto the wall where I want this to go, and then I'm going to cut through that wall and this, which gives you about a 24mm sink into the wall. Should be enough. And then I'll put a full blank on the back, so the whole thing will sink in 24mm. Maybe I may go another one to make sure it sits right in, because I might put a cover over it, like just a clear plastic thing that you can slip up or lift up out of the way, because we do get really big storms up here, and when it rains up here it really rains. So even though this is actually waterproof, it could bugger it. But anyway, let's get into it. Okay, we've got our piece of ply, and what we're going to do is, this is where the cable's going to come out. There'll be a T-piece in here, because a main feed cable goes back to the release button, which releases this, and then of course this button calls through the system to there. So there'll be a T-piece here, and then I'll run it into the back of that other unit. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'll just get a bit of the, I call it the putty that you go along and put up to glue gyprock to walls. I'll use a bit of that glue around the edges, and then I'll just use 4 screws around the corners, and that will hold it in place. Alright, so what we're going to do, put a little bit of this stud adhesive on. It just makes it bond easier, it just makes it stick, it makes it seal a little bit better. Alright, so we'll just put a little bit of that on. You only want to put it around the edges and fairly thin, because it will make the timber stand off the frame. Okay, just to make enough, just to make it stick. That's all you have to do, not much. That will just about do it. Then you pick your spot. To help it stay, just tack a couple of screws in it. Alright, that's pretty well covered that part. So then you go outside and we'll go along and put a pattern on there and draw up what we're going to do and how we're going to cut it out. Alright, so once you get your position where you want it, I use a spirit level just to make sure I have got this square. Okay. You can take lines off the top, but it's the easiest. I know where the screw holes are. Of course the screws that come through the front, but anyway, a little bit of putty and a bit more paint over that'll be alright when I put the next skin on. So that's roughly where I want it. So I mark the size of it, and then I'm going to go oversize around it. Okay. So I've got a big enough gap for that to nicely sit in. Okay. Okay, what I've done is I've added a 10mm border. The only thing is I've added 30 at the bottom. I'm going to chamfer it on an angle, so if water does hit it will run off. The main reason why I've added more on the bottom is because that's how you open this. So if I need to ever get this case off to get into it, you need to get in it from the bottom, and you need to be able to give it a twist, and then the top pops off. Okay, so you've got to give yourself a bit more room just to get it in. Alright? Okay. So now I'm going to drill the pole holes for the jigsaw. Because I want this on a 44 degree angle, pretty much, because the jigsaws can set at that, I've had to kind of guess roughly where it's going to be. So I've already pilot holed them in, and they go up on roughly a 45 degree angle. Okay, so I'll do the next couple. And now we can see how we go with the 45 degree angle. Sadly, I just realised that the two screws I had in there are going to get in the way of the jigsaw, so I've had to move them up to still give it strength, because that's still hardening on the inside. It takes about 24 hours. So anyway, where we go. So that should fit happily in there like that, with the other plank on the back. So looking at it, it'll sit actually underneath the bodywork exactly where I wanted it. Okay, and then any rain will just run straight off that button there. Okay, so alright, I've cleaned it up fairly well. I'm going to fix the rest of it up with a bit of putty and stuff like that, because once you paint over it, you're not going to tell the difference anyway. So now I'm going to put the same stuff on the inner one. So just put goop around the edges. Like I said before, make sure it's reasonably thin. There you go. Okay. That'll pretty well do it. Okay. Drill. Right in place. There you go, backing plate's on, it's ready to go. Now we'll check on the outside, eh? Okay, and from the outside, there's your nice plate, nice and sunk. And that'll sit in there just nicely, and it's actually under the level nicely. So I can put a nice cover over your lift or slide, don't know yet, haven't worked that one out. Alright. There she is, ready to go. And you've got bags of room to get under here to open it up when you need to. And you've got plenty of runoff for water if it hits. So now it's time to clean it up and make it look pretty. Okay, we're getting close to the end. So now everything's been done. As you can see, I've painted it. The walls and door frames, everything's completed. All I have to do is, as I've had this on before to make sure it all works, I'm now just putting it back on again. I've just twisted one so I know which is the line that goes back to the power, and this goes to the door. That's the only reason why they're twisted, just so I know which is what without having to label them. She's on the wall. Now we just put the wiring in, and it's labelled on here, door release room. So this is my room. Okay, the unit's on, the outside's finished. At this point in time I'm thinking about maybe getting a strip across here with a bit of, thick clear plastic with another piece of metal of some form, just to keep the weight down, maybe just to protect it a little bit better. But for the moment that will do, so now we can move on. Alright, we're just going to put on the last of the little bits and pieces. Everything else is finished. This is just the door trim, the door cover, or the door lock cover, and then last but not least will be my gorgeous sign that will go on. There you go, the nice little covers over, screws are all hidden, all looks pretty. And now, put our beautiful sign up and I can say, welcome to Tinshed Studios. Alright, she's getting rather warm up here. And we've come into autumn and we're still cooking to death. But anyway, what I've done is I've worked out roughly where I want my beautiful sign. I've put a mark along the bottom so that's level. And a mark on one side so I can square it up so she's sitting in the middle of the door. So here we go with the last bit. Finish my